Giffin. The summer after 7th grade, I went to the Busby Berkeley Camp for the Performing Arts in Pinewood, Wisconsin, because I liked to tap dance. I liked to tap dance because I had no friends. And when you have no friends, you gravitate naturally towards hobbies. Have any friends. Tap dancing has been with me since I was 10. My cousin took me to see a double feature of Singin' in the Rain and Top Hat. After that, I went to see every Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly movie I could. I renamed my goldfish Fred Kelly. I thought it was fun. I got a pair of tap shoes. Every day after school, I went down into the basement and danced for hours. Arms flying, body spinning, clouds of dust kicking up around my feet. I'd arrive at dinner dripping with sweat. After a year of this, my parents carpeted the basement. Our firsts define us. Our first day of school, the first time we walk, our first kiss. Though intimidating, in short story by Joseph Weisberg, we are still encouraged to take those steps and to lean in for that kiss. Even if we do need some lessons. Kissing lessons. Following spring, my parents decided that I should go to summer camp. Sales reps came to our house from camps with names like Loxahatchee and Nabagamon. They showed slides of boys water skiing and playing baseball and doing arts and great activities. But not for me. Then Horace and Sylvia came, the owners of the Busby Berkeley Camp for the Performing Arts. Horace had a pea-sized growth just above his upper lips in Yiddish. In their slides, groups of kids were on stage, performing old musicals. I looked at my parents. Yes. At camp, the boys were misshapen, bewildered, and talented. For example, Beefo Kellner was blubbery and spent most of his free time clipping his toenails, but had an amazing tenor voice. Ed Waxman was squat, cross-eyed, and had numerous facial tics, but completely transformed into an actor. But the girls, they were as perfect and put together as the boys were clunky and poorly assembled. Some of them had women's bodies and moved around camp in this charged fourth dimension. They all came from Chicago universe, and they flirted constantly. At home, nobody ever flirted with me, and now girls were winking at me from across rooms, giggling while they talked to me, hugging me. I felt like somebody who's been raised by a colony of apes, then returns to civilization to find himself surrounded by the species he is truly meant. Our show that summer was How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. I was cast as J. Pierpont Finch. My big number was a college fight song called Stand Old Ivy that Pierpont sings with his boss. After the song, I had to go over and kiss Rosemary, the leading lady. Rosemary was being played by Susie Tefler. Beautiful, most popular, and tallest girl at camp. She was a full foot taller than me. The idea of kissing her filled me with a constant dread. I'd never actually kissed a girl. For the first 2 weeks of rehearsal, we didn't get to that scene. Then the day came. I sang my song, and then I walked over to where Susie Tefler was standing. I turned my face towards her, praying that kissing would result. I felt her breath, then the electric tingle right in front of her lips. Then Susie jumped back and at the top of her lungs yelled, "He bit me!" The audience burst into a loud, punishing laughter. Every time it seemed like it was dying down, it built up again. I wanted to run off stage. With a situation like this, there was only one person I could turn to. Manon Gustafis. Manon Gustafis was my best friend at camp that summer. Manon was short and hyperactive and had this big, beautiful nose of a Jewish Mediterranean face. I had a crush on her, but we settled into a friendship. Manon saw how depressed I was after the biting incident, so a few days later she came up to me and said, "I've solved your problem." "What do you mean?" "I got Nina Steinberg to give you kissing lessons." Although the idea of kissing lessons wasn't particularly less terrifying than actual kissing, I went along with it. "She'll meet you at the prop shed tonight at 9 o'clock. That night I rubbed Old Spice deodorant on my underarms and put on my best t-shirt. I opened the barn doors to the prop shed 10 minutes early. I sat in an old Foot Locker and waited. At 9 o'clock, Nina slipped in through the barn doors. She closed them behind her, and then she came over and sat down next to me on the trunk. "Hi," she said. "Hi," I replied. "So, you want to practice kissing?" Yeah. She leaned towards me. I leaned towards her. Then came a problem I hadn't anticipated. You see, Nina had huge... You know what I mean? I knew it was my responsibility to avoid making any contact with them. But as we got closer, it was clear that our lips could not meet without her mashing into me. Which is what happened. And in the same instant, our lips were together. She affixed her face to mine, and her tongue darted into my mouth. This was chaotic. In a place that felt like outer space, I thought, I'm French kissing. Finally, Nina pulled away. "Okay, you're a natural." "What?" "Yeah, you're good at it." Then she got up and she went to the door. "Thanks." I didn't really believe what she had just said. But I was glad she said it. When I got home at the end of the summer, Manon called me and told me that her family was moving and that she was going to be transferring to my school. We were going to be at school together. I was ecstatic. Perhaps now I could put my kissing lessons to good use.